What's up, everyone? Fox Nation Sports here. Beautiful Wednesday here at the HQ. We just concluded NFL Week 1. Just like that, we couldn't wait till the season arrived, and now we're already 1 week in the books. But we are not going to be picky. We are excited for tons of football, not only in NFL, but college football as well, of course, where we will discuss time to time on this podcast, but more or less it's going to be NFL banter, betting, analysis, free plays, and giving you everything you want to hear on this podcast. So, is there anything else you would like to add to this pod? Please let us know in the comments. Direct message us on Instagram or shoot us a message on Twitter. Please leave a 5-star review if you are enjoying the podcast. That helps us, and we do appreciate all the good feedback. With that in mind, welcome back. Thanks for listening on the last podcast episode that we talked the NFC or the AFC preview. We didn't have time to get into AFC, unfortunately, just jam-packed with sports, but we're looking to do our weekly routine once a week at least, recapping the prior week, and we got to go through our little routine, discussing what happened in the prior week, top game of the week, and also give out some free plays. Also, fishy line of the week, as you guys remember that and recall. But week 1 in the books. Personally, betting-wise, for clients that were with us and joining us and tail us, we had an amazing week 1 start. Probably one of our best starts we've ever had, winning over 8.5 units in week 1 alone. We went 11-4-1, 11 wins, 4 losses, 1 push. We went 5-0 on our kicker player props. The kicker whisper is back this season early on. We didn't start doing this last year to probably week 7, week 8. But dating back to last year, we're now at over 63.6% on kicker player props. It's some niche that we've been having success with since last year, and we are going to keep going back to it. We went 5-0 in week 1 alone and gave out a couple free plays on Twitter. I think we won 2 or 3 free plays with the people there. So do tune in to our Instagram accounts, Twitter for sure, and sometimes on the website where we drop some free plays. And we will have a free play, and it's going to be a kicker whisper play. So stay with us till the end. So very happy for the start in a betting standpoint and for our clients. And if want to join us, go to our website, www.foxnationsports.com. Go to the packages site and look to see which one. We have 1-week packages, we have 4-week packages, and we also have the whole season package, which includes the NFL playoffs. Things that we noted in week 1. We go through this every year. So get a load of this. I like to look at the numbers, the trends, the betting trends, where the people are betting, where they are not. As you know, I usually like avoiding the herd, going with the public. We like to go against them because at the end of the day, Vegas and the lights are bright there for a reason. They are taking money from the public. The novice bettor is the one that just don't have the education or feeling to try to compete with Vegas. No doubt about it, Vegas is tough to beat, but it's always good to be well educated and know all the insight and analysis that you can get through betting. So, teams, NFL teams last week in week 1, that were getting 60% or more of the money of the betting tickets. Guess what their record was? 1-9. So if I go look through the list, Eagles, they had 64% of the betting tickets. They didn't cover. They may have won, but they didn't cover. Let's take a look at another one. The New York Giants, where I was on the Giants. They had 69% of the betting tickets. I think a lot of people were backing them because of the week 1 division rival on the road dog, but that didn't work out. Commanders cleaned them up. That's another team. Miami Dolphins got 79% of the betting tickets, and they got shellacked. Atlanta Falcons got 70% of the money. They lost to Tampa Bay. New Orleans Saints, another team, I actually pushed on that one, got 63% of the tickets over the Cardinals. I ended up pushing on that one because I bought a point or a point and a half to get that to a touchdown, so we got lucky there. So you get what I'm saying. Teams that got 60% or more of the betting tickets went 1-9. To me, that says the public got beat there. Things I try to steer away from after I'm looking at the numbers after the fact. Why did I bet on the Giants? Why did I bet on the Saints? Things of that nature. I don't know. Just felt good about it. But we learn, we live, and we move on. But 1-9, astounding. Let's talk the totals. Over-unders. Unders dominated. I'm usually an over better. Thank God I didn't bet this week any totals. Unders went 12-4 of the 16 games. 12-4. So they're off to a hot start. Does that mean it's going to be positive regression or side to the over this week too? Let's see when we recap this next week. Divisional dogs. Divisional dogs. So, for example, as we said, Cowboys at Eagles. Cowboys divisional dog there. They cover. Another example would be Giants and Commanders. Giants are the divisional dog. They did not cover. It was flat, 4-4. Divisional dogs went 4-4 in the week. And the biggest glaring stat is favorites came to play. Favorites straight up, not against the spread, straight up money line went 14-2 on the week. 14-2. So we'll see if that number changes, and there's potentially a few more upsets in week 2. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a couple more. Things can even out as we know as we inspect and analyze all the data. So those are the takeaways from week 2. I do keep track of that. I do go against the public more times than not. It doesn't mean the public doesn't eat. It doesn't mean the public doesn't win bets. Of course they do, but we know that Vegas and the books, their lights, their air conditioning, everything is bright and pumping cold air for reasons. They pounce on the public, and I usually try to side against that. I try to put myself on the house's side, which is the sports book. Obviously didn't, let's say, with the Giants, for example. But great week overall, 11-4-1. Power through with 5-0 on our kicker, whisper player props. And yeah, I mean, I think week 1, there was no surprises, as you saw. 14-2 to the favorites, and maybe some potential upsets in week 2. Do want to talk takeaways, just quick takeaways. Maybe I come up with a few words with each team. I won't do this every week, but takeaways from week 1. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys and Eagles game. Dallas Cowboys, Dak actually looked pretty good. I know stats-wise it wasn't there, but he made some big throws. If it wasn't for maybe a costly drop or two by CeeDee Lamb, they're in potential to win that game on the road. We'll have to see how their defense does. They look kind of leaky. They settled in the second half, but Eagles were moving the ball at will. So we'll see how that defense does, minus the post Micah Parsons era. Philadelphia Eagles clicking offensively. Jalen Hurts doing his thing, tush push, 2 touchdowns, Barkley a touchdown. I think they probably played C level, and they still came out with a W. I am worried or looking forward to see if this young defense, how they are going to fare throughout the season. You know, Howie Roseman has banked on this young core to deliver for them, as all their money has been spent on the offense, and they've lost a few players in the offseason like Darius Slay, Sweat, and one other. So we'll see how they do. They didn't look good defensively. Again, they also settled in the second half, but both teams look defensively on the weaker side. Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil. Chiefs need to establish a running game, whether it's with Kareem Hunt or Isaiah Pacheco. Did not look good there. Offensively, Pat Mahomes looked better. Had a better start. It looked okay offensively. They don't have Rashee Rice. He'll be suspended for 6 more games, I think, or 5 more games. And Xavier Worthy went down with an injury, so now a lot of pressure is going to be on Hollywood Brown. But I think the Chiefs are still playing good defense despite losing on the road and allowing 27 points to Chargers. I think the run game needs to get going to make life easier there in Kansas City land. Chargers, big win. Jim Harbaugh. They ran the ball, of course, but they also told Justin Herbert open up the playbook to pass as well. Keenan Allen back with the Chargers doing what he's always done best there, and they are welcoming his services along with Quentin Johnson and Ladd McConkey. I forget the rookie running back Hampton had a great game. Defensively will be the thing we need to look for the Chargers, as I mentioned on the pod, how their pass rush will do and their run defense worked out in week 1. But kudos to Jim Harbaugh and a big win against the Chiefs and Justin Herbert as they start their season. New York Giants, defensively, very good. Held the Commanders to 21 points. That's going to be the bright spot for them. Already shaky performance with only, I think it was 6 points, 7 points, something like that for the Giants. Russell Wilson is probably going to be the starter for week 2, but how long will that last before the pressure on the franchise starts calling for Jackson Dart's name? Really not much to cheer about offensively. Malik Neighbors already frustrated on the sideline. That is not a good sign, but they're going to need to get a boost in offense. We know that they're going to have a down year, but let's see how they fare week 2. Commanders, they're my team to regress. I'm always big on regression and second-year quarterbacks, even if it's a star caliber player like McDaniels. But he did enough. Offense looked pretty good. Scary Terry still wasn't even really used in the offense as much. Their offense will get better, of course, and they took care of business in week 1. But let's see how they do with Green Bay on the road on Thursday night. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young. We saw the first half of last year, Bryce Young, and not the second half. That is not a good start for the Carolina Panthers as they lost to Jacksonville. Not much to scream about there. Have some good young wide receivers. That's probably about the only positive over there going on in Carolina. Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval off to a great start there. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Defensively, they looked sound, but of course that's what happens when you play the Carolina Panthers. But kudos to them on getting it done. Travis Hunter involved in the offense early. They just recently traded Tanks Bigsby to the Eagles, one of their running backs, for if you're thinking fantasy football sake. That is good for owners of, I should know this, but I don't know who it is. He's going to be flourishing right now with Jacksonville. He had a massive game. You know what? Bear with me. It's bothered me that I can't come up with the name. He erupted for 143 yards. Bear with me. It was, let's see, Travis Etienne. Yes, it's going to be his show over there now that Tank Bigsby is gone. So interesting move there for Jacksonville. They moved to 1-0. Miami Dolphins. I didn't get cut off. I just don't have much to say about it, though. I mean, they couldn't have asked for a worse start to their NFL football season. Got injuries early on in the game. They put up a whopping 8 points on the road against the Indianapolis Colts, who are nothing to scream about. Tyreek Hill already frustrated on the sideline. The only bright spot on that team right now is A-Chain. Tua looked awful. Saw Colts players saying that we rattled him early when they took away his first read because Tua always likes to get the ball out of his hands. If it's that easy, all the teams are going to be doing this. So there could be trouble in Miami. Doesn't mean I don't expect a bounce back potential win this week against New England, but they threw their worst offensive performance, overall team performance I've seen in quite some time to start an NFL Week 1, especially when all the teams are hyped up. Indianapolis Colts. Speaking of, Daniel Jones looked like a Super Bowl MVP or NFL MVP after his performance with Miami. I don't know what that says, but kudos to him. He was awesome. I think the Colts scored on 7 straight possessions, which was like an NFL record. He looked great. Right now they look like Wizards, giving him the starting job over Anthony Richardson. Let's see how the Colts do against another opponent this week in the Broncos. They're going to get a strong defense, so we're going to see what the Colts are made of. But kudos on their awesome performance and taking care of business against Miami. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Super Bowl hype train is real still with Baker Mayfield and crew. They have found potentially their young stud receiver of the future whenever Mike Evans does retire in Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. Probably butchered that name. 2 touchdowns, a clutch game-winning touchdown. Supposedly calling his play in the huddle, the post route that he wanted, and scoring. And go figure, Atlanta Falcons finding a way to lose that game. Young Huku, which I'll get to, but Bucks, great win on the road. They are down. Tristan Wirfs will hurt their offensive line, but hopefully they can get his services back, and Godwin. They moved to 1-0. Atlanta Falcons. I think it's officially time to part ways with Young Ho Koo. I mean, luckily for us, he hit one of our kicker player props over 1.5 field goals, but he doinked it to make it for us. But then even the third one, game-tying field goal, he missed it wide right. I mean, he's missed some shocking kicks dating back to last year. I know he's exciting to watch and has his fair share of makes, but I think at some point he needs to go. He's costing them some victories. Atlanta Falcons, Michael Penix Jr. debut as opening day starter, pretty good, but they just don't know how to close out games whatsoever. Classic case of losing cultures and franchises not being able to win the games. Arizona Cardinals take care of business in New Orleans. Not so easy. A 20-13 win. Cardinals. Kyler Murray working his legs. Marvin Harrison Jr. looking for a bounce back second-year campaign. Pretty good game with the touchdown. New Orleans Saints defense was awesome. We expect their defense to be their bright spot of this year. I hate to say it with Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator, but he's trying to make it exciting, some blitz packages, and cause some kind of havoc. So I want to see how that defense is going to do the rest of the season. I think they had 5 sacks on Kyler Murray, which is pretty good, but they're going to be offensively challenged all year long because of the quarterback play, not because of the offensive pieces they have. They have pieces: Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and a couple other good young guys. So the quarterback play can pick up. Don't be shocked for the Saints to maybe win a couple extra games more than people think. Not a good full transparency start for our futures. We actually took the Saints over 4.5 wins. I was on the under pretty much until the last second when I saw their schedule and said, you know what, let's take the over. So not a good start for our one-unit futures on 4.5 wins, but long season. Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers. Look what a winning culture can do to a quarterback and revive them. 4 touchdowns on the road versus the Jets, his former employer. Way to answer the bell. Steelers doing Steeler things. Both players that they traded for from Miami, of course, losing culture. Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith both contributing with a touchdown on Jonnu's side and a game-hitting tackle by Jalen Ramsey on Wilson to seal the game. Big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jets, Justin Fields look good. They look good. Respect going against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This probably should be usually top 5 in the NFL. I'm curious to see if they bounce back. But Jets look good offensively. Props to them, but found a way again to lose in a span of a few minutes there if you watched that game. Raiders, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, winners. They take one in New England against Mike Vrabel's new-led New England Patriots. Raiders look good, did enough. They get a W, but well-respected performance by Geno, as we would have thought. And Pete Carroll, he's a winner. I can't stand the guy. Chews his gum nonstop. He never ages. Hands in the air, always constantly, and smiling. Probably a great coach to have on your side, annoying to go against. Patriots, the hype was there for New England. Just didn't have a great start. Drake May, average game. Defense is going to be their bright spot, if anything. Can they get better offensive production from their players? Not a good start for them against the Raiders because Raiders D is not that anything to scream about, but they lose at home. I expect this team to get better as the season goes along, especially with a great coach like Mike Vrabel, but they better pick it up soon before the losses start to pile up, especially on their friendly schedule. Cincinnati Bengals doing the Cincinnati Bengal thing, finally getting a W in weeks 1 and 2 of the NFL season. I think their record, I saw in the last 3 years or 2 years, they were in combined weeks 1, 2, and 3, they were like 0-5 and 1 or something. And they barely squeak it out against the Browns as a big favorite. Offensively, they look challenged, but credit the Browns for that. Myles Garrett and crew, but Bengals look to pick it up. Supposed to have one of the better offenses of the year with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and of course, Joe Burrow. But they squeak out a win. Browns, they found a way to lose, as a losing culture team would. Easy kick. Not sure how long for that.
job is going to be there for that kicker, but found a way to lose the game with, I think, like a 36-yard kick for a go-ahead lead. Browns, great performance defensively. Joe Flacco did enough, came up with INT at the end. We'll see how long that goes with Joe Wacko Flacco, but credit to the Browns defense. That will be their strength all year long. Let's see how many more games they can stay in it though with. 49ers and Seahawks. 49ers, ugly win. Ugly win. You know me by now. I'm a 49er lifer. Ugly win, and it came costly, losing George Kittle for 4 weeks. Jawan Jennings stayed week to week. McCaffrey had a monster game despite him supposedly being injured. Purdy may be out this week, maybe out 2 weeks, may play, but he's got a couple of injuries. So it was a costly win. They found a way to get through. Nick Bosa with a big sack and fumble to seal the game. But let's see how they do. They're going to have to pick it up offensively. But the return of Robert Saleh on the defense is big for the 49ers, as you can see at the end of that game. Seattle Seahawks, even though they lost, I'm big on Seattle. I think they're going to go to Pittsburgh next week. Don't sleep on them. I wouldn't be shocked if they came out with a W, even though they're a 3-point underdog. Great coaching there with Mike McDonald. I'm drawing a blank. Sam Darnold played a good game. They like to run the ball there, and the defense is sound. They do a lot of great things there. That's a good culture, even post the Pete Carroll era. Seattle, I think they played good. They had chances to win that game, no doubt about it. I think they'll have a good season. Tennessee Titans, I think they had every chance to win that game. They just could not deliver once they got to Denver's side of the field. Costly sacks over and over and over. Cam Ward didn't do anything great. Credit the Broncos defense for that, but let's see how the Titans do throughout the year. I respect what their defense did on the road at Mile High. They put their team in contention, a chance to win. That would have been a big money line upset. Because definitely the Denver Broncos were the chalkiest team of the week for Survivor leagues, for spreads, for parlay pieces, and they snuck it out. Denver Broncos, again, second year quarterbacks, I call for regression, and Bo Nix definitely lived up to the regression so far in week 1 sample size. Did not play good whatsoever. Kudos to Tennessee. Sean Payton, what in the world are you thinking out there with his play call? Going for it twice on 4th down when you could have punted it and killed time. He gave Tennessee multiple chances to get back in the game. Quite shocking, honestly. He needs to be looked at some point of the scandalous decision he's making. It's almost like he's Lane Kiffin and trying to cover the game because they did not cover. They won by 8, and the line was 8.5. So would not put it past Sean Payton. Never really liked Sean Payton, so wouldn't put it past him if he was gambling or betting on his squad. Detroit Lions. I don't want to say they laid an egg. I think Green Bay just punched him in the face, and they punched him again and punched him again. Offensively, they got to get a little bit better. Defensively, hung in there, but offensively, got to get better. They protect Jared Goff, who got sacked 4 or 5 times, but credit Green Bay's defense. I expect Detroit to get back on the saddle, especially with their head coach there and right the ship. And we'll see. Time will tell how much the Lions are missing their offensive and defensive coordinators from the last few years with all the success. Aaron Glenn, who's in New York, and offensive coordinators in Chicago, who I'm drawing a blank on. But I expect Lions to get back on the train. They actually play the Bears. So we'll see how that goes. Green Bay Packers. They, with a convincing win like that, who Detroit has kind of owned over the last few years, they were 1.5 favorites. They crushed Detroit. That defense came to play. They punched Detroit, as I said. Offensive, they did what they needed to do. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, plethora of young wide receivers, Matthew Golden, you name it. They did enough. They got the W. They are Super Bowl hopefuls now, definitely to push the Eagles in this NFC. And great start to their season, no doubt, on all facets, all sides of the ball, special teams, defense, offense. This is a team that we're going to be looking at weekly, and they're going to be a tough out. Houston Texans. Do we have a problem there? I don't know. 9.5 season win total in the year to show that Vegas thought they're not going to kill it. Can God, I'm drawing blanks on names. C.J. Stroud. Rams. This was a good defensive game on both sides. Houston's strength is going to be their defense. Their offensive line is going to be their weakness. Will they give him time to throw? Nico Collins will need to carry this team. No Joe Mixon for the next 4 games at least. And we're going to have to see. This offense will need to pick it up, and they'll have the chance to do it on Sunday Night Football. Won't be an easy game. Rams, again, they didn't score too much offensively, so credit to Texans. But their defense looked good. Their defense kept them in there and made the plays. Puka got hurt early on, but looks like he got healthy. Kyren Williams doing Kyren Williams things at the goal line. These two teams, great defensive performance on both sides. Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. What more can we say about both teams? Baltimore Ravens was the better team for 56 minutes. 56 minutes, they were the best team. And they just could not hold their 16-point lead with 4 minutes left, which is crazy against the Buffalo Bills. But they look like a really good team. King Henry is not slowing down. We all think he's going to slow down. Durability with all his tires being worn out over the years in Tennessee and Baltimore and the amount of carries he takes, but he just keeps looking better and better. Lamar was awesome. Zay Flowers was awesome. It was a good game. They played well. They just shocking that John Harbaugh on some aspects did not go for it on 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 towards the tail end of the game to kind of end that. You got to know who you're playing. Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, a Brady-like, Peyton Manning-like, that if you give the ball to them, you're going to lose. I'm surprised because Harbaugh is used to be known to go for those. It's actually cost them in the past and lost games for being too gutsy. So maybe he got in his head a little bit, but I think there's got to be a rule. When you play a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, those type of caliber players, that's when you got to go for it. If you're playing mediocre, then you can decide to punt it. But shocked that he did not go for it on some of those downs. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, unbelievable. These two quarterbacks will be going for the MVP. I think one of Josh Allen's plus 300 now, Lamar's plus 500. Fantasy football wise, if you didn't win with Josh Allen on your team, your team's got problems. That's another story. But I think he put up like 40 plus points on fantasy. It's kudos to those teams that have Josh Allen. Offensively, they do not miss a beat. They're pumping. We had a Josh Allen anytime touchdown, and Bills look good. Their defense will need to play better, but let's not judge them on game sample size against a team like Baltimore Ravens. But that'll be the place that they need to get better is the defense. Vikings, Bears, KOC, Kevin O'Connell. The coaching, the quarterback whisper is doing something with J.J. McCarthy already. He did it with Josh Dobbs for a little bit. He did it last year with Sam Darnold. He just knows what to do. He's a player's coach, and they sneak out a win. They look good. We have them to get to the playoffs. I think at minus 110 odds. That was a nice win to start the season for them. Defense is flying around. Same team from last year. It's just J.J. McCarthy now. Same great coaching on offense and defense, and expect big things for them throughout the season. They play Atlanta in Minnesota next week. Chicago Bears, another losing culture team, finding a way to lose the game. I think they were up 16-7 in control, and their offense went dead. So, I think things were better there offensively for the team and the new head coach, but the culture there, and they need to find a way to close games. But I will say it was a promising game for the Bears from what we've seen from them over the last 4 or 5 years. So maybe they can have some solace in progressing to the weeks after. But the knock on them is they do not close games, and that showed clearly. And that's the recap for my takeaways from the games. Let's talk game of the week. All right, who is going to get the game of the week? We could go Commanders, Packers. We could go Patriots and Dolphins. Just kidding. Bears, Lions, Seahawks, Steelers, 49ers, Saints, Who else could it be? I mean, Eagles and Chiefs. Game of the week, hands down. They'll probably circle as the game of the week more times than not. 4:25 Eastern in Arrowhead. I don't want to say must win, but KC's 0-1. You got to think that they need to have this game. They have a tough schedule. Philly has a tough schedule, but at least they got the win against Dallas. KC right now is +1, I think I saw. +1, +1.5. 74% of the bettors are backing the Chiefs right now. So they're banking on Mahomes and crew to get the win. Look, I don't think the Eagles' defense was very good in week 1. They weren't very smart, obviously, either. What's his name? Jalen something spitting on Dak, getting himself ejected for the game. So that didn't help them, of course. So as long as he keeps his mouth shut and is active for the game, that will help their defense. But I definitely think they're going to be on the weaker side. And Mahomes and crew could possibly establish the run game and get that offense rolling. It's a very tough game to cap, not going to lie. I just know KC is going to have to be more desperate. They will in this game, and they potentially may sneak this game. The over-under totals at 45.5. Super Bowl rematch. I mean, this is the match of the week. There's no way to steer around it. You know, I wanted to give you that Dolphins-Patriots match of the week, but this one is the one that's circled. I think Chiefs have the better defense. Eagles have the better offense. Let's see. Will Philadelphia do what they did to Kansas City last year in the Super Bowl and wreak havoc on that offense? If they had some of the same personnel, I'd say, yeah, sure, why not? But you know Andy Reid and crew have made some changes since that game. They have circled this game on the calendar, and you would have to expect that they're going to throw their biggest uppercut and punch. Even if it's week 2 for a winning team, winning culture team like Kansas City, that you wouldn't think this is a meaningful game with all the Super Bowls they've won and success. This is a big game for Andy Reid, and to see if they have recovered and adjusted to this Philadelphia Eagles team in week 2. Big game. No play on it yet, but if I had to lean one, it would be Kansas City, but it's just a lean. So enjoy that game. I didn't really look at fishy lines of the week. Maybe I'll drop an extra pod and really see one after looking at the lines. You know what the fishy line for me would be? I would tell you right now. We'll see how this pans out. I bet a lot of people are backing Pittsburgh this week. And sure enough, they are. Just look, 74% versus Seattle. At first, I wanted Pittsburgh. I mean, I just think in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers, Tomlin. But don't sleep on the Seattle team, even though they lost at home. I think they can play Pittsburgh tough on the road. That would be my fishy line of the week. People thinking Pittsburgh's a lock here. If anything, I would play Seahawks or bust. So look out for that. We'll come back next week to see if that was correct on my part. All right, free play. Free play for week 1. I told you earlier it was going to be a kicker player prop. We're 5-0 to start off the season in week 1. We're hitting over 63% since last year. Last year we went 23 for 39 on kicker player props, over 58.97%. Now we're at 63%, as I said, including this year. Kicker play. Fairbairn. Houston Texans. Sunday Night Football. The guy has a knack and loves kicking indoors. He went 7-2 last year alone, indoors in Houston. Let's see here. They are playing. Who are they playing? Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers just let Koo go 2 for 3 on field goal attempts. They allowed 3 field goal attempts. 2 went in. So Fairbairn is going against. Last year, the Bucs were the 9th easiest team in allowing field goals. That means teams 9 out of 32. So far, they're already starting in that territory. Bucs defense isn't that good. I feel a desperate Houston Texans offense that needs to start getting humming, but they love Fairbairn. When they're in field goal range, they almost always let him try to kick it. They're not a team who tries to go on fourth down, like a Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. They take their medicine and take their field goals. He loves kicking at home. It's Sunday night. Fairbairn over 1.5 field goals. Right now you can find it at minus 139 odds, but I'm going to wait a little bit. Hard Rock app has not surfaced yet with kicker player pop odds, so I'm going to be waiting to see if that is a little cheaper, which I tend to find on their site. Fairbairn, Houston Texans over 1.5 field goal. That is the free play. We're going to try to go to 6-0 on the season there on kicker, but trust me, we have a list already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 5 to 6 potential kicker player prop plays that we're going to be adding to the card. Great start to the week, as we said. We went 11-4-1 over 8.5 units just to start week 1. It's not too late to join us as well. Let us know. Use the promo code FAWK2025, FAWK 2025 if you want to join in with the team. Let's get on the saddle. Let's get on the train. The football season is young. Full transparency here at the headquarters. Potentially it's going to be a tougher week. I don't know. We're going to try to go repeat in our performance and stay in the positive. And like we have in the football season, we've been a winner over the last 3, 4, 5 years, all documented. Thank you for listening to the pod. Do appreciate it. Give us a 5-star. If you don't mind, give us a 4 or lower if you do. If you didn't enjoy it, and let us know if you like anything else added to that. I appreciate all the listeners. We're so pumped for the football season. Be ready for Instagram, Reels, and free plays given out on there. We're going full on at this. LFG, everyone. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Let's go.